All right, my friends, we want to welcome you guys to this special event about artificial intelligence. I think this is going to be a fantastic session here. We have students from Loyola University who are going to do a presentation and just do a couple of housekeeping things before we get started. Aaron, just give me a thumbs up if we are streaming just to Twitch, because I know some people from VR Church wanted to watch on Twitch, which I think you are. I just wanted to double check. All right, very good. We're all good for that. All right, excellent. And if you guys don't mind, we're actually going to jump right into it. But real quick, those who are presenting from Loyola University, do you mind come up standing next to me? And then we'll begin that way, and I'll hand it over to you here in just a second. All right, we got Morgan, we got Feel the Burns, Samantha. Who else we got? Mustafa, is that right? And anybody else? Angela. All right, you guys. So you guys look at, we got Angela, we got Morgan, we got Samantha, we got Feel the Burns and Mustafa. Guys, before we get going, let's just show them our appreciation for taking some time to share their school project with us. Maybe some heart emojis, some claps. Coming into the metaverse to talk about artificial intelligence. We want to welcome those watching on Twitch. What's up, Twitch? If you see Aaron flying around, he's our Twitch streamer. I know maybe you're at work or at school and you're trying to just catch this on the go. Welcome to Twitch. Good to see you guys, or perhaps on demand later. Nothing but love to you guys out there in Web 2. All right, enough of me chatting, guys. I'm going to hand it over to you. I think we're going to be moving around to different points in this space to read some of these different graphics. So get ready to move around. And yeah, I'm going to hand it over to you guys now. Feel the Burns. It's all you.
All right, thanks so much, DJ. Thank you, DJ team, for setting up the space for us and letting us work with you guys. Like you said, we're from Loyola. We work in our biology philosophy combined class with Dr. Burns and Dr. Vukov. Over here, Dr. Burns has his hand up, and then so does Dr. Vukov over there. So if they butt in, don't worry about it. They're the pros on this subject, so they're going to help us move it along probably.
And let me do one thing. I apologize, Feel the Burns, for my interruption. We have an overflow happening. So this room is filled up and an overflow room had just started. So for all the presenters from Loyola, if you look at your bottom right host tools and you see below amplify my voice is going to be go on air. So I need you all to press go on air. And actually, I need to press that myself. I wasn't going on air myself. And that's going to broadcast us to overflow rooms. Once we fill this room up, it creates another server. And so now I am broadcasting to the second server. And so if you're presenting from Loyola, please make sure you have your go on air and your amplify my voice on. Thank you very much.
All right, I think I'm good. Let me know if anything messes up for any of us. But again, thank you guys so much for coming. This is a huge turnout. I really appreciate it. But we're gonna start off. We're gonna go around. We kind of see in a circle. We have a bunch of our infographics set up. So Mackenzie's gonna start us off, and we're gonna go, head over here to the left side or stage left to our first slide. So again, thank you guys so much. And let Mackenzie take the floor and intro us into AI and religion.
Hi, everybody. Are you able to hear me okay? Maybe somebody from Loyola can say that if you can.
You're good.
Okay. Yes. Perfect. So I'm just going to provide a little bit of background on what AI is. So artificial intelligence has been a scientific interest since the 1950s. Researchers have questioned if machines can use information to solve problems just like humans can. John McCarthy, a past professor at Stanford, coined the widely used term artificial intelligence. He explains that AI is the simulation of human learning and human intelligence by machines. So in a general sense, this means that computer systems and algorithms model human intelligence to produce certain outcomes. For example, we have seen this sort of intelligence for years on our iPhones. Voice recognition is used with Siri, and speech recognition is used with Google Translate. DJ also mentioned earlier that there are certain softwares that are able to write our essays for us. So each of these machines is able to rapidly take in information and quickly produce the effect of the programmer. And the machines use an elaborate process of learning in order to do this, which we will learn about a little bit later. As technology continues to advance, so does the presence of artificial intelligence in our lives. The use of AI has spread to the workplace, the classroom, and our homes. We see self-driving cars, marketing chatbots, and robot manufacturing workers. So far, these machines imitate the intelligence of humans. They rely on the training and programming that is given to them. They don't, however, have the capability of thinking of brand new ideas on their own. In the future, there is the possibility artificial intelligence will get stronger and exist without constraints. This opens the door to many questions about what AI might apply to and how far it could develop without human control. So today we will be exploring how artificial intelligence can be used to complete tasks more efficiently than humans. Maybe the expansion of AI in our society will bring benefits and enhancements. But we will also be discussing how artificial intelligence can pose ethical dilemmas involving personhood, healthcare, and human relationships. So if you look to your right, my left, we will now pass it on to Sam to tell us a little bit more about the details of AI.
Okay, thank you, Morgan. Everyone can hear me? Okay, sounds good. So now I'll be discussing just basics of how AI physically works. AI machine models use algorithms to parse given data, learn from it, and predict the outcome. Each input takes into accountability the probability of each possibility and can be used to calculate the expected outcome. There are three ways machines recognize certain patterns. The first process is called supervised learning, where the machine is given a set of data that has been labeled with the correct answers. It then looks for patterns in the data in order to learn how to classify new data. The second way is through unsupervised learning, where the machine is given a set of data and not told what the correct answers are. So then it finds patterns in the data, itself in order to learn how to classify it. The last is reinforcement learning, which focuses on how software agents ought to take actions in an environment so as to maximize some notion of cumulative reward. If you look over at the picture, there is a Venn diagram that kind of holds the umbrella topic of AI, as well as interlooping machine learning and deep learning. Deep learning are deep neural networks that are an AI technique utilizing an interconnected network of neurons to process information. They receive inputs and process outputs forward. GPT-3 is a deep neural network that uses machine learning to generate natural language. It is a type of AI system that is trained with machine learning algorithms to generate human-like text. GPT-3 is based on a form of machine learning known as deep learning, and deep learning is a type of machine learning algorithm that uses multiple layers of artificial neural networks to process data and make predictions. There are three different types of a modeled AI. These include a super AI, a strong AI, and a weak AI. A super AI is a hypothetical artificial intelligence that is significantly more intelligent than the best human brain. A strong AI is made by combining a number of AI technologies to create a system that is capable of human-like or better performance in a range of cognitive tasks. Pointing back to the poster, you see Sophia the bot, who appeared in 2016. She expresses human-like features. She was made by Hanson Robotics, and she was the first bot to receive Saudi citizenship, and she is a suitable companion for elderly or others seeking company. A weak AI is a machine learning algorithm that is not capable of human-level intelligence. Common reasons include a lack of data, incorrect data, a lack of computing power, or a lack of intelligent algorithms. And below the Sophia bot is an example of Siri or Alexa or other voice recognition systems that we use in everyday technology on phones and everything like that. Now we will be moving to our right, or your right, my left, for Joseph to explain AI and personhood.
All right, thank you very much, Samantha. Everyone can join me over here. This is the fun part, in my opinion. So as Samantha brought up the subject of strong AI and super AI, we saw Sophia the robot as one of our first examples of a strong AI. But super AI is something that we have yet to see on Earth. And when we think about an artificially created mind or a consciousness or intelligence that isn't human, some ethical dilemmas come up. And there have been a couple different schools of thought to process the what ifs of when this eventually happens. And so I'm going to be challenging the intersection of AI and personhood. And when I say personhood, I mean the quality or condition of being an individual person. So I think that we all can agree that we ourselves are individual people, our friends, our family, basically every human that we know is a person. They have achieved personhood. But when we look at artificial intelligences, we would say right now Siri would not have personhood. They're not their own individual with their own thoughts and feelings. But when we think about the eventual hypothetical of a super AI or a strong AI, this gets confusing. So I'm going to start with talking about Alan Turing's on AI and personhood, which was devised in his Turing test. I'm sure many of you guys have heard about. If you've seen Ex Machina, that was the plot of the movie, was that the main character does a Turing test on the super AI that exists in the movie. Um, so Alan Turing, the way his test was designed, there was a human with two text-only channels, one being to another human and one being to an artificial intelligence. If the artificial intelligence was able to stump the human, meaning that the human didn't know which one was the other human, which one was the artificial intelligence, or if the AI was able to convince the human that they were also human and was said to have passed the Turing test. And to Turing, this was good enough. He thought that this would be able to imply personhood and that they were capable of human-like thought. However, another school of thought for this comes from John Searle, who challenged Turing's original idea in his Chinese room thought experiment. I think this is really interesting. And Chinese is just sub for any language. It's any like non-native speaker. So the way that this works is a native Chinese speaker is in a room again, two text-only channels, one going to another native Chinese speaker, and one going to somebody who has never spoken Chinese before. However, they are armed with a codex that has tons and tons of Chinese words and phrases, and then in correlation to those characters that they can send back that would make sense in conversation. So he found in his experiment that the native Chinese speakers were not able to identify who was the non-native Chinese speaker and who was speaking Chinese their whole lives, which brings up an interesting question about imitation versus understanding. Obviously, the person who wasn't a native Chinese speaker did not understand Chinese at all. They didn't know what they were sending back. They just saw in their book, if I receive this, I send this back out, which you could argue is what weak AI or what strong or super AI would do. It's just taking an input code and sending something back, which we would argue is different than how we think. Um, we would say that we process deeply and we make our own decisions and have our own tendencies and emotions. Um, and so John Searle would imply that an AI could never achieve personhood because it's simply an imitation of humans. Um, but again, there's a third perspective to this, introduced by William Lycan. Um, and William Lycan challenges our traditional understanding of personhood. As of right now, our sample size for people is one. We only know that humans are people. We would obviously say that Siri, Alexa isn't a human or a person. We'd probably even say that Sophia isn't a person. So John Searle challenges this and says that all humans are made up, I'm trying to do air quotes here, made up of or humans are made up of veins, arteries, electric neurons, signaling all of our thoughts, being programmed by our DNA, by our thoughts and experiences throughout our life. AI would work in the same way. Instead of being made of flesh and blood, of wires, circuit boards, and being programmed by machine learning. And he argues that despite the fact that it's non-human intelligence, it's intelligence, it's consciousness. And we have a moral obligation to afford it all the rights of all other conscious entities. So here are three different ways to think about this. We've been using these perspectives to make decisions and to navigate these dilemmas in class. And later on, when we have our interactive portion, hopefully you guys can talk to us too about how you take these three different positions. But as of right now, I'm going to pass it on to Mustafa. You can tell us more about applications of AI. It's really muted for me. I don't know if it's the same for other people.
Yeah, sounds like it's maybe the wrong microphone.
Do you want to try using your computer mic for now?
Or amplify.
If you try going to settings, do you know how to open up your menu? Your main menu. If you go up to settings and audio, there's an option where you can toggle through the different microphones available on your computer. Then that might help. But
Hello. Hello.
Hey, Mustafa.
We can hear you, but it's muted.
We can hear you, but
Again, it sounds like
you're
the wrong mic is selected. Oh, try now.
Is it okay now?
A little bit
It's a
better,
bit
but
better.
you know.
I can't hear Joseph now. So,
Okay, are you going through
You
your
can always
computer?
change the microphone device Alt Space VR is using by going to Menu, Settings, Audio, Audio Input Selection.
audio, audio input filter.
Yeah, Audio
Yeah.
Input Selection is the one that changes what
You get
microphone device you're using.
selection.
Is it okay now?
Oh, so much better.
That's much better.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
Good.
It was still connected to my headphones. I'm sorry. So this leads us to this perfect this already leads us to the perfectly explained for the applications of AI. So I just want to thank Joseph for his wonderful presentation. It's really cool to talk about this stuff, especially in today's modern age. Like Morgan already mentioned, there are a lot of uses to AI that we see everywhere. And I want to specifically highlight the applications of AI in healthcare, elder care, and religious ceremonies. Let's start off with applications of AI in healthcare. AI can be used to assist doctors in diagnosing, preventing, and treating illnesses. For example, Stanford has produced an algorithm that can detect pneumonia better than radiologists. AI-driven healthcare can also help reduce medical errors and enable healthcare providers to address questions and concerns faster. On top of all that, AI can be used to cut down on labor and administrative costs, which can reduce the price on the patients that need access to healthcare. I mean, who doesn't want cheaper access to healthcare, am I right? Unless the greedy CEOs want to profit even more money. Next, I want to talk about how AI can be used in elder care. While the elderly population continues to grow, the demand for more efficient care options also rises. Artificial intelligence is being used to help meet the increased need, providing elderly individuals with quality care that is both safe and personal. AI-driven devices can be used to remind elderly individuals to take their medication, provide regular health care, monitoring alerts, and even detect falls or safety risks. AI can also be used to provide emotional support and companionship, helping to reduce loneliness and improve quality of life for seniors. As AI continues to advance, it can be instrumental in providing support to our aging population, allowing elderly individuals to remain independent in their own homes for longer and receive the care they require with dignity and respect. We have also been seeing an increase in applications of artificial intelligence in religious ceremonies. For example, VR Church is a perfect example in this situation. The introduction of artificial intelligence into religious ceremonies has sparked a heated debate. Many people are concerned that using AI technology to program religious ceremonies takes away the personal aspect of these ceremonies and reduces them to mere scripted events. On the other hand, others argue that AI could be a powerful tool for people that are unable to attend religious services in person. No matter where you stand on this matter, we can't deny that AI has made it easier for us to attend this amazing discussion and learn a lot about AI. I mean, 10 years ago, the thought of having any religious service in a virtual world was simply unfathomable. Look at us now. We are in one virtual room, organized by a virtual church, discussing the application of AI while using AI. It's crazy, right? I think this provides a nice segue to our conclusion, which is going to be presented by Angela.
Hi, I'm Angela. In conclusion, we went over the ways that AI works, the deep neural networks of AI, what super strong and weak AI is. We also went over the Turing test, and listed examples in real life. Even as AI gets better, it all comes down to its advantages, and there are some positive advantages of AI and some dilemmas as well. One advantage is that being able to use AI can help in the healthcare field. It has especially helped with elder care as well. In this case, AI can help do tasks that tend to take long. This is this is an advantage because with minimizing these long tasks, patients can be taken better care of. It is beneficial because sometimes these elder care facilities don't have enough staff, so having some help is great. Another advantage that AI has is that it tends to decrease human error. I feel like in any setting involving data, that it helps the results become more precise and accurate. The next advantage is that weak AI tends to not be biased, and because they aren't biased, we don't have to worry about emotions directing its responses. There are instances where it's probably best to not be biased. And for the dilemmas, the first example I have is elder care again. The dilemma is that people feel as if they actually do implement AI with elder care, that these elders will not receive any emotional connection with an actual person because it's an AI. There is also the dilemma here that about if the elder's family will feel uncomfortable because an AI is taking care of their elders. Another dilemma is that AI can sometimes take time and money. Sometimes these people don't have resources to accomplish this. So in addition to this, AI tends to need to stay up to date. The next dilemma is that people feel that AI could end up taking away jobs. Another thing to think about is that, is it ethical to have AI become more advanced? Is it ethical for AI to take certain jobs? Is it interesting that there will always be people who support AI, but there will also be people who are against it as well? And these are just some of the reasons for both sides for AI. And that's it.
All right. Thank you guys so much for, thank you guys so much for sticking with us through our lecture. But now comes the part where we include all of you. We're going to be doing a couple open discussions. So we advise feel free to unmute and talk with us. We'd love to hear your opinions on different stances. And we're going to also be doing what's called a barometer exercise, which we'll introduce when time comes. But to start, we're going to move over to our first question over here. And Angela's going to take it away again to get us talking.
Okay, the question here is what aspects of your life do you see the developments of AI impacting the most?
So for this, you see the raise your hand option has popped up, I hope, for all you guys. If anybody would like to move to the front and say something you find interesting or anything like that, I'd like to welcome you. And if not, we can start to get the ball rolling as well.
And then Field of Burns, I can manage the participation. So as people raise their hands, and quick question, Cheddar, looks like they're already on. When you raise their hand, I see a couple people with microphone already on. Is that a bug, or is that maybe Cheddar's?
What it is, I believe, is that the people who are on air, like the students, should like are already megaphoned. But
I see. They're good.
yeah, that's what it is. They're just already on air.
Okay. So do you want me to start taking questions, and I can just send them to you?
Oh yeah, sure.
All right. Looks like David
Sounds
Pratt
good.
has their hand up. David, did you Field of Burns
Yes,
and David? Yep. Good.
yes. Can you hear me? It's me, David. Uh, One of the development for AI I see making an impact and is in helping people to take care of the elderly. I myself is a caregiver to my grandmother, but even in the past, it was a lot easier in the past for people to take care of their family because there were other things to do. People were living on farms. People were family were more close to each other. But as time grows on and as the economy progress, it's hard to keep up in the world, especially when it comes to your income. When you can't go to work and you can't work a full-time job and make money. I personally have always been interested in having AI intelligent, like an AI bot to help take care of the elderly because this way an individual doesn't have to get left behind in the rest of the
Kelly, I don't
world.
know if you're still talking or not.
Hello? Yes, I'm still talking.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
I
I can
can
hear you
hear
now.
you.
Thank you so much.
Can you hear me now? You hear me before?
Yes, for most of it.
I was just saying I like the idea of AI being a part of helping people to work with the elderly so other people who do take care of elderly can also progress in their life. Did you guys hear
I
me?
think that's a great point. Yeah, I agree completely. And also in COVID times, one of the examples we talked about with AI and elder care, you get to have touch-free care for elders, and that's especially important in elderly communities where people are have weaker immune systems or require more constant checkups, and especially in time where nurses are limited, personal protective equipment is limited. But yeah, that's a great point, and I would agree completely. So see, we have another hand from Cheddars. Would you like to speak up?
Okay. So, what I find the biggest impact is definitely the Amazon recommendation AI, because the number of times I scroll down to the bottom and find the recommendation of an item similar to this or items I've been looking at is more than I can count when it comes to like solid state drives. And it's so nice. Secondarily, Gmail spam filters. That's my second go-to for AI work. My third go-to is self-driving cars, seeing them used in select places in California and Vegas and Florida and stuff. And then Tesla's cruise control. That's pretty fancy. Or then you've got your lastly, AI generated art has impacted me on a personal level because I was able to download Stable Diffusion and then just like send cute custom memes of like roses and grapes and pumpkins for my, at the time fiance and now my wife. So those images must have been helpful in some way. I'm teasing, but yeah, it's a lot. AI has really impacted my life.
Thank you for that. Yeah, that's really interesting. One thing that I wanted to say is one way I see it impacting my life is when I am on like TikTok or Instagram. One thing that they use their deep neural networks for is to filter all the hundreds of thousands of posts that you've seen and see what keeps you online and see what keeps you engaged. And so what I see being impacted in my life is I hate to say it, but my attention being monetized. Not to turn it to more of a sinister directive, but something that we probably all, if we scroll on Facebook or any game system or Instagram, like I said, that's something that is being actively monitored right now. Every scrap of data is something that ends up being tracked and remembered and used in the future. So that's another thing that we talked about in class as well.
Another thing
All
I
right,
like.
and I see Chap for Agree. If you want to unmute as well.
Yeah, I'm unmuted. Can you all hear me?
Yep.
I think the most
I can hear.
aspect of lives, but not necessarily my life, is going to be the balance between capitalism and socialism. There's already so many jobs in America that exist only so that someone can think that they're earning a living, and they would rather not have to do this job just to think that life is something they need to earn. Um, and more and more machine AR driven machines become available, the more stuff that can be done without a human assistance other than saying what they want, what they need, where it was what they wanted, and so forth. Um, so there will probably be the economy will have to be adjusted and not be using money as much. Uh, there probably always will be a need for human participation in the production of stuff, but that'll be limited to just a few, and they should be awarded properly with money. Everybody else, I don't see any need to buy stuff when everybody can have it. I mean, how much do we pay for air to breathe? Um, I'm also wondering which ones of you are driven by our AIs right now that are doing the presentation. So that'll be interesting.
No, that's interesting. That brings up a good point about the balance between how much AI is serving us and like what I brought up with uh, social media is how much we're serving their goals and directives. But anyways, I hate to cut us off. We're gonna move on to Mustafa's question next. So we can keep moving on and hit all these before we go. So Mustafa, you can have the floor.
I just had to click to amplify my voice real quick. So this is one of the questions where we're going to be utilizing the barometer exercises. This exercise, basically what we're going to do is wherever you feel on this situation, on this question, you can move. If you agree with it, you can stay here by the fire hydrant, or if you're in the middle, you can go here by the casino sign, or even if you totally disagree, you can go here by the dumpster. So I hope everyone gets the general idea of the barometer exercise. So this question asks if you would be comfortable having an AI to take care of your parents or grandparents. So if we developed an AI that can be used to take care of the elderly population, would you feel totally comfortable letting that AI deal with the elderly population, or specifically with your parents or grandparents?
And just to be clear, fire hydrant is super comfortable, completely comfortable, and the dumpster over on the far end is this sounds terrible. I don't want to do this at all.
So I see we kind of have a lot of sorted in the middle. I'm just going to go from the extreme end to extremely disagreeing. I want to see what Dr. Vukov here thinks about the situation of why he disagrees with this, or why he isn't comfortable with letting an AI take care of.
Yeah, is my voice getting amplified? Can you all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
Okay,
you.
cool. Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a tendency in our culture already to ignore, mistreat the elderly, or maybe not mistreat isn't the right word, but they tend to be a very vulnerable population in our society and tend to be a population that we don't think about as much maybe necessarily. You know, I think we're a unique culture in the way we use nursing homes and other forms of elder care. And I don't know, I'm by the dumpster because I think it would be a indication of a poor part of our culture, even though maybe it is inevitable, maybe with the aging population, it's something that we have to do. But I'm still holding ground by the dumpster because I think that it would be I think it would be a real indication of things that culturally we're not very good at, and then being amplified.
Thank you, Dr. Vukov, for sharing. I'd like to hear from someone here in the middle if they'd like to share why they're a part of this middle community. Yeah, sure, Phantom Mythos. I'm sorry if I butchered the username.
Hello. Yeah, I think it's for me. It's less about uncertainty with the AI as to not knowing the quality of it. If it turns out to be really good, then I'd be, more comfortable with it. Or if it's not very good, then not very comfortable. It's hard to classify a whole technology when there's possibly all kinds of varying levels of quality of that technology. So Yeah, maybe I'd be fine with it. Maybe I wouldn't. I'd still want to be involved in watching how it was, caring for my parents, obviously. But I'd be up for helping it help.
Anyone else that would like to add anything?
I see Barosh has their hand raised. So if you could tell us where you are and then what your opinion is.
So,
Looks like Baruch has the megaphone on, but I don't think I hear them talking. Let's see here.
Me neither.
Sometimes there's an audio glitch, so we just have to let me turn your megaphone off then on again. Sometimes that fixes it. But sometimes it doesn't. So perhaps to the next person, because it looks like an audio glitch there. It looks like you have Andy next. Andy, I'll put your megaphone on for you.
okay, you got me?
Yeah, we got you.
I can
Okay.
hear.
I was just thinking along these lines of that, I think AI is great for some things, but with any technology, it's got certain downfalls that are only good as the programming behind it. And if there's not somebody to catch that problem, it just continues along the lines of whatever error it's in. I mean, and granted, we can do that as humans as well, but at least as humans, we have the ability to change our thinking along the way. I work in a pre-hospital setting on the ambulance, and I can't imagine, giving over the ambulance to a completely AI generated thing because there are hundreds of diagnoses. Now I can't pick them out all myself, but I can treat what's happening in the moment sometimes. That if a machine picks up the wrong thing, they could be treating a whole different thing. I guess the human oversight is what I'm looking at. It couldn't be just, on the complete AI basis. That's where I don't feel comfortable completely supporting it, but I think it could be a great help along the way with some of that.
Thank
You
you,
guys mind
Andy,
if I
for
chime
sharing.
in just real quick? Just a
Yeah,
quick
sure.
thought. Oh, thanks. Yeah. So I know it sounds kind of silly, but if you've seen iRobot, I feel like even though it's like a Hollywoodized like movie, it's like such a good presentation of like robots, the future, like AI. Because I think sometimes for me in my brain, and maybe I'm just working it out in my what's up, guy? How you doing, BBC? So in my brain, I'm working it out, and wait, hold on one second here. There we go. When I think of like the robots, and I think of like there's two kind of sides to it. One is like the artificial intelligence side of it, and one is like automation. And so I think a lot of these things that we see are like looks like AI, but they're really not. Maybe Alexa or other things. But when you watch that movie called iRobot, it's fascinating to see what it could become, right? And it's kind of like scary in one sense. And so like when you think of like taking care of our elderly or taking care of people, there's such a good side to it. But the premise of that movie is like the ghost in the machine. This isn't automation anymore. This is like a thinking, autonomous, entity. And even if we code things into it that say abide by these parameters, you saw in the iRobot movie that it did abide by parameters by taking control of the humans. It was like part of their the robot rules or whatever. So I think it's great. I love the idea, but part of me is like, man, what if part of that is true? Like for
Shut your bitch
true
ass up.
scary
Shut your
AI.
bitch ass
You know what I
up.
mean?
Shut your
What's
bitch
up, buddy?
ass up. Shut the
What's up,
fuck
man?
up.
How you doing? For some reason I can't kick him. Alice, did you get him? Yeah, for some reason I couldn't do that.
Yeah, I
There we go. You
kicked
got him. Perfect. Anyway, so that's all I had to say about that.
Okay, I just saw Snowman here having his hand up, and if we can hear his thoughts of like how comfortable he is of letting AI and take care of his parents or grandparents.
Thank you. So I've noticed that there are already many robots in development like Osimo, and then there's a few others like I think Harp or something like that. I think the butler part of home help would be best because I'm kind of already a home helper or patient care assistant or associate, and being a butler to go do tasks like bring things when somebody is not mobile would probably be a good idea. I mean, honestly, it could be a little bit lonely having a robot substitute a person, but having tasks done that are simple and easy could be a good improvement.
No, I would agree completely. I also want to ask, is Snowman a reference to the book Snow Crash? Can you use
No,
it in?
Snowman's just
Okay.
it's because it's December.
Okay, that's funny. We read a book in class called Snow Crash, which was about AI and a bunch of that stuff. And the main character was Snowman, so interesting connection. But again, thank you so much for
Close. It was
close.
Oryx and Crake.
Sorry, Oryx and Craig. Yeah, my bad. Thank you for correcting me. But, again, we're gonna move on to our next question. All the way on the far side over here. I believe Samantha is going to talk about this with us.
Yes, sorry. Let me amplify really fast. Not okay, cool. So the next question we have is it's another barometer measure, and so the question is asking, how would you feel if religious services held in VR church were to be fully held by programmed bots? Would you still attend such services? So we're gonna do the same exercise, and let's do like this Wellington Street sign as like, no, I would never attend. This little like broken TV in the middle or whatever that is, sort of like middle, and then the trash can can be like, yes, I'd be for this. It's a great idea. Okay, great. I think we might have most people over here. So we can start off, let's start off at the street sign thing. And so those who say like absolutely not, if someone wants to just raise their hand from there, and then unmute and kind of discuss it. No. Okay. Mustafa, do you want to kind of chime in and say
Yeah,
how you guys
sure.
are?
Sure. So
Looks
I
like you
feel
have a Phantom raise his hand. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
Phantom?
Get a lag there.
Yeah, it's okay.
Oh,
Phantom.
I'm sorry.
I think
Sure.
Phantom disappeared. Yeah, go ahead.
Hear me? Okay. Yeah. For spiritual matters, I think that that's God created humans, not AI. So I would want to leave it with the humans to deal with that. We actually have spirits, therefore, it's our responsibility and our privilege to worship God and all that. Whereas the AI really shouldn't be involved. That'd be my thought.
Okay. Does anybody else from this side have something to say or want to chime in or agree or?
I can add to that for the religious services. I feel like it takes someone that's not just knows the material itself. It's someone that can devote a really amount of time spiritually and mentally to handle such religious services. So that's why I feel like, yeah, AI can handle the mental aspect of this by obtaining all the knowledge it can, but there's still the spiritual aspect that's missing, and that's why I totally disagree with that thought.
Okay. Sounds good. Good point. Does anybody in the middle want to go? I know Morgan and Dr. Bukov are in the middle, and maybe some other people. Let's see. I have a hand up. Sorry, let me pull this up. Oh, feel the burns, Joseph.
So I think I did that in an accident, but I'd like to open the floor to anyone else before I talk again.
Yeah, I just had a quick thought, just as a pastor here
Okay,
at
sounds
Virtue
good.
Ready
Does anybody
Church.
else have?
And if you guys can hear me, let me turn it off and on
We
again.
have DJ Soto talking.
I'm not sure if you can hear me, Samantha, but
Yeah, I can.
yeah,
Now I can. Yes.
okay. Some audio glitch going on. So I think for me, and I haven't done a ton of thought on this. I've done a little bit certainly in the past, and it's less of like AI running the service and more like AI powered church. And so what that would mean for me is, for example, I saw someone actually do this on TikTok. They said, "Hey, AI chat, write me a sermon on Romans 6." Now, for me, I wouldn't just take that and just go upstairs and on the stage and preach it. But with our teaching team, and many are just volunteer, and just to be able to present a manuscript and say, go through this and make this your own, I could see how that would be powerful. And as startling as that might sound for an AI to start the legwork for like a sermon, like reading through what the AI actually produced was really good. And that's the shocking part of AI for me, is how good it can be, how good it is even at its current state. So I think of things like the AI powered element of our church letting me know things that I'm not seeing. Like there is a member of our church who's maybe on the introverted quiet side, but they have a serious need, and somehow the AI through whatever mechanism is able to say, send me a message, hey, this person really needs a connection. And I wouldn't have known that through, let's say, a human powered experience or mechanism. So I think when it comes to like teaching and worship and shepherding, I think for me, it's not so much the AI doing, the human to human interaction, but it's AI powered in the background, generating, creating, connecting, bringing awareness. And I think that would only enhance like me as a pastor of a church to see things that I feel like AI could shine light, kind of like shine a flashlight in a dark corner. So that's kind of my thought about that.
Yes,
I'd
that's
also
interesting
like to
right there.
piggyback off that. As
sorry, go ahead,
I'm
yeah.
another pastor. I'm another pastor at VRMMO Church. I'd like to piggyback off what he's saying is, first of all, it depends on what is your definition of a service. Is a definition of service in your mind where people go to get discipled to do life together? Because to me, the definition of a service is once a week on a Sunday or a Saturday. To me, church is the people, and um, it's discipleship and doing life together. So relying on a service, from what I'm hearing of of what you're saying about the issues with AI, is if you're only getting those things on Sunday at a service, then yeah, that's a problem. But if you're doing your life the way we are called to live it, which is every day of every week, then having an AI assist or run a service is a different question in my brain than it is in someone else's brain. And I have played with I've been always been future tech person, and I've played with the chatbot, the chat GPT that's really popular right now. And I am a professional content creator, and I have actually tested it to see, is this thing good or not? And so I tested it on some professional work, and I didn't turn that over as professional work, but I tested it to see, can it do this? And it actually helped me with some writer's block that I was having on some things. I didn't use the content, but that content brought up things that I hadn't thought about to then make my own. Like he was saying with the sermon prompt, like, yeah, but now it makes me think about this thing in a different way than I had before. Okay, now I can talk about it because I wasn't thinking that way before. That's something interesting that AI can do. It can make connections that we as humans can't, because again, we have our preconceived notions, and we often, and I could go on about that, about even that conversation earlier about, could you tell the human from a robot, because the robot can have pre-programmed responses. Actually, humans do that too. We're constantly just parroting what other people have said anyway. So we need to start all thinking for ourselves anyway, but I could go on about that. But that's what I had to say about AI.
Yeah, like AI powered versus AI run, I think is maybe like the
Yeah.
term in my brains at least.
And I know that
good point.
most everybody here is as a practicing Christian, but one of the other things we talked about in terms of AI and other services, we talked about a Buddhist meditation AI leader. And so something like that, and I think Mustafa probably knows a little bit more about this than I, but if we look outside the scope of Christianity, I feel like there's some other applications where AI and uh, being the best, like most intelligent, most quickly processing type of intelligence out there could help out some others with achieving meditative states or connecting with them on a way that uh, once a single teacher or a Buddhist leader could. And that's just another perspective to take. But anyways, that's another 2 cents to throw in.
Yeah, good take on it. Does anybody from like the yes side by like the trash can area kind of want to chime in before we move on to the next question? Let's see. Sorry, I just saw the hand raised.
See Andy, if you want to go ahead.
Andy, yeah.
I'll stop moving. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I just want to say, first of all, I'm about 75%. And the only reason why, maybe playing a little devil's advocate here, is you look back over church history, over religious history, and how much of what we do a service ends up being ritual, because humans are ritualistic. And an AI could handle that aspect of it without any problem. Which brings open the whole idea that, somebody could go into something like, AltSpace here, plug into a room anytime, day or night, and AI meets them, goes through, something to guide them in that spiritual journey. And I'm speaking as a pastor as well in real life, that, I could see people going through a meditation or a reading or something like that that's completely AI focused, generated, led, and they could get a lot out of it. Or even a small group coming into that and having the AI lead the small group and maybe even discussion. But I think there's that last, 20, 25% that we've been talking about here, that people brought up, that needs to be physical connection, human contact, emotional, spiritual support. So I'm not fully for it, but I can see where, especially as it continues to grow, that that it really could provide a anytime, anywhere that I could learn or get closer to God or progress in my spiritual journey.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair point as well. Okay. Do you want to move on, Joseph, or?
Yeah, sure. So our last 2 questions are over here, our presentation board. All right, so this is one that I find really interesting myself. Again, another barometer.
Fielderbird, I'm not sure your
So,
microphone is on. Maybe double check that real quick.
You need to turn on your megaphone.
Oh yeah, hold on. All right, can everybody hear me?
There you go. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, so next question is: should an artificially created being have the same rights as a person in terms of law and religion? This is something that I got at with my presentation over here, in terms of if we have something that exhibits consciousness and something that exhibits intelligence, is it something that we have more obligation to? Is it a consciousness that can receive salvation even though it's not flesh and blood? So, as a barometer exercise, we can have this dumpster here as yes, can be for all the same rights and regulations. And then the heater over here, or whatever this is, the ladder, can be no. So let's sort ourselves really quick.
I'm sorry, what was the beginning and end again?
Sorry, yeah, so the dumpster here be to say oh my gosh, I forgot which one I said. So one would be yes, AI should have all the same rights as a human. And then over by the ladder would be no, not at all.
Hey, Joseph.
Yes. Yeah.
Just to give you a heads up, we are at time, so we should probably wrap stuff up soonish.
All right, yeah. Let's
At
run
least
through
we
one or
check
two
with
opinions
DJ.
here,
I have
and then
no idea what's
what was
going
that?
on.
Oh yeah. So let's just get one or two opinions. After this, we're just gonna open it up to any thoughts or ideas. So there for that, but get started. Does anybody check for raise hands? David, do you have an idea? Oh, yes, I can. Let's start with Youngblood.
Honestly, this is all new to me, so I'm just trying to figure out what's going on.
All right, we're having a discussion about AI and religion. So I'm gonna pass the mic over to David actually to start us off.
Okay. Can everybody hear me? Okay, good. All right. I'm in between because we don't know the extension of how much AI can learn. Can AI learn compassion? And can AI learn and mimic, not just mimic, but become almost as equal, to as humans, see us as something to care for. And if so, then maybe down in the century, instead of saying down in the future, I would say, yeah, that AI should have the right if, say, an incident happened. Let's say the owner baby died, and the AI did everything, try to revive it back to life, and all the, something, just in case something happened.
Yeah, the tricky part about a lot of this is that a lot of this now is a hypothetical, like what would happen in 10, 15 years, maybe even a century. And also the problem about imitation versus genuine understanding is that you can just guess about right now or think about deeply. But I would say that's a very logical thought about this. All right, so I know over time, I'm going to open it up to our last question as well. If you see behind you, any thoughts, ideas, comments about AI? If anybody has any closing statements or anything that they want to talk to us about, this will be our last question gathering experience. So, Snowman, if you want to be the first one to discuss this.
Sure, I can go ahead and say some stuff. So, well, the way I see it is that technically an AI is kind of natural because it is made from natural material, even though it is kind of manufactured. And it does just store data technically. So as it's like receiving data or being influenced from the environment, it technically kind of becomes the environment, you know? So I think the energy is also the same, considering that people also have mechanical limbs now. So those are kind of my thoughts.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. It does get kind of complicated when you have to define the terms. What is AI? What isn't? But yeah, I think that's a great final comment. There's a lot of what ifs with things, and I guess as we learn more about AI and it advances, it's just interesting that as a society we're gonna have to actually answer these questions sooner or later. So we just wanted to say thank you all so much for coming. We really enjoyed presenting to you. Thank you, DJ, so much for setting all of this up, especially to your creators. This world is incredible. It's exactly what we pictured when we were thinking about AI. And then, of course, Dr. Burns and Dr. Vukov, thank you for helping us get through this presentation and helping us along the way. Yeah, so thank you everyone for giving us your time, and we've had a great experience talking to you about AI and religion and personhood.
Thanks, everybody. Let's give some heart and clap emojis for Loyola University and for the presentation. I thought it was fascinating. I wish we probably do this more often, to be honest.
That's what I was gonna say. You stole my word, and I was gonna go up there and tell about emojis.
We are on Discord. We're under the Loyola Collaborators tab in the VR Church Discord. If you guys want to send any of us messages or if you have any questions or anything, we're still lingering. So we'll be on there.
Excellent.
How you doing, Pastor DJ?
All right. So if I'm not mistaken, the event is officially over. And correct me if I'm wrong. And if it is, then feel free to turn to your left or right, meet someone new. Let them know what you think about AI. And yeah, so let's just hang out. Thanks, everybody.